Oh, this chair seems really high. I lost my glasses. Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday, right? Tuesday? I don't know what day of the week it is, to be honest. Heather, are you on here? Oh, there she is. Where are you, Heather? Oh, there you are. Nope, that's not you.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it that I can't make the screen just the people talking. Ugh. I can only do that on my computer. Anyway, all right. Well, happy Tuesday, Heather.
Happy Tuesday.
Romeo, get away. How is everyone today? I just got out of the shower. Heather, can you call me at 1:30, please? I'll see how fast I get ready. Lickety split. So the other day, I fell off my toilet. I know that sounds really funny, but I broke my hand. So I don't know.
Are you sleeping? How do you fall off a toilet?
I fell asleep on the toilet. Yep. You know how I am, Heather. Mm-hmm. Hi, Jazzy. How are you? How's everybody's week been? So Bev and I are just getting over the coronavirus. I'm pretty sure we still have a little bit of it because I'm still running a fever, but they think that we're getting better. We're not going to die, at least, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But so I hope everybody has had a great week. We have Heather Allen on this week. Last week I had introduced one of our new 5-stars, and so this weekend I'm introducing one of my favorite people. Heather Allen made 4-star. Heather has been with me for 5 years, right? Almost 5 years.
So yeah, the end of this year will be 5.
Yep, the end of this year will be 5. So she's been working really, really hard. The last couple of months for sure to get there. And as we all know, when we're trying to get to a new rank, especially when it's the upper ranks, it can get a little bit harder. You actually have to have a team helping you. You can get to senior by yourself. You can get to 1-star by yourself. You can maybe even get to 2-star by yourself. That's a lot of work. But when you want to get past a 2-star, you really have to be able to lead people and still be coachable and be a teacher and a leader at the same time, so you're able to go back and lead a team of people, because you really need those people to help you get there. So congratulations, Heather, on finally making 4-star. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I sent her I sent her 4 dozen roses for making 4-star. And the lady was like, 4 dozen roses? Her husband isn't going to get mad, is he? I'm like, I don't know. He might, but I doubt it. So anyway, congratulations, Heather. And so I'm going to just have Heather kind of talk today a little bit about her journey, what her journey was like before coming to True Vision, and then how her journey has been since being with True Vision, and what it's been like to finally make the rank of 4-star. So take it away, my friend.
Okay. Well, I think I've told my story before, but so I just was like anyone else. I just worked. I worked in a factory. But then it closed down and went to Mexico or whatever, and I went back to school, and then I got into this other job, and I graduated college, and then went to work in the medical field, and then I worked for a doctor, and he was just kind of a jerk, and some of the other, so it just was kind of, you just, yeah. So you just want, so I was just going to work every day, hating it or whatever, but I started, I started repurposing old furniture and stuff for like a stress reliever. And then I decided when I was ending up with this big, huge garage full of furniture and stuff and nowhere for it to go, I ended up on Facebook because I had never even had a Facebook before. So, I then was laying in bed one night trying to learn how to do Facebook, and I came across this post and in a yard sale site or whatever, and so that's where my journey began. And then I bought the trial pack, and then within a couple of days I was loving it or whatnot, and then ended up having to find this lady that I ordered from, and how do I get more of this stuff? So that's how it started for me. And then I have no idea what I did or what I was doing because I had no intentions on ever sharing the product. I just know that I loved the way that it was making me feel, and that's what I was focusing on. I must have shared with somebody or did something, because then one day I went to go order and I had money in my back office. And well, I didn't even know it was back office. I just had some money sitting there, right? So then I messaged Kaylee again, and I was like, what is this? Where did this come from? Like, what do I do with this? And then she's like, well, you must have shared the product or told somebody about the product, because now, mind you, I've never even done any training or anything.
And that was back, you know, when we had really super easy links, and I think she had just asked me for her link that somebody wanted to read about it or something.
Yeah, I don't know clue.
But it was when we had really super easy links, you know.
My trial pack came in a manila envelope. I mean, I didn't even get, you know, there wasn't even links to order trial packs, like, or however that worked. I don't know. But so I was like, okay, so then I still just dabbled in it for a while, right? Because I was in that mindset that you have to go to a job. Like, you have to go out of the house to work. You have to have that 40-hour-a-week job, or you just can't make your bills. Like, that's just what we're taught. And so that's just what I believed. And nobody around me would say, you know, they didn't believe or know anything different. So they, of course, would be like, oh my God, you can't do nothing with this, you know, like. So then would you stop? Sorry. You know, the husbands are home. Yeah. And so then, yeah, I don't know. Now I got off track.
And then you kept
going to work. Yeah.
Back.
So
the money was there.
Yep. So you know, you always think you still have to go to work all the time. But then a little light bulb went off in my head, and I was like, if I'm doing this and making money, or if I'm not doing anything and I'm making money, what if I started doing something? What if I started doing what these other people are doing, right? And then I ended up getting Jason. I was like, okay, I'm going to go to one of these meetings. And I had Jason come along with me, and we went to Kentucky. That was our first meeting that we ever went to together. And
I was so rude to her. I didn't even know who they were. I didn't even talk to them.
She wouldn't even sit with me.
Level 1. And I sat right next to them.
And no clue. And then we even went to Nashville. And again, Jason and I are sitting in a corner all by ourselves. And everybody over here is all mingling. Nobody even talked to us there. We had our own hotel room, you know, but I dragged him along with me. And
hi, Jason.
Hello.
That's where we started becoming, he started getting a little bit more involved too. He's taken the product by now.
Romeo, go lay down.
And he is
go away, Romeo.
Understanding why I'm on my phone a little bit more. And then it just so happened, I think, so I saw a video the other day we had to do of like partners and spouses. I don't know, it popped up. But so I ended up with all of this making 2-star within like a year. And still, you know, I'm still learning. Like even today, I'm still learning every single day. And I'm just excited that I've got this opportunity. And then of course, then I had some problems with my health along the way and stuff too, but I just knew that I wasn't going to let anything stop me, because now I'm on a mission. And I hated going into that job every day. I hated this guy telling me what I can and can't do. And, you know, it was just a lot of drama and chaos. And so I messaged Kaylee one day, and she already, because I had been in and out, dabbling in and out. And she really was like, okay, well, whatever you're going to do. And so I messaged her, and I was like, listen, I need this much money to be able to quit my job. Do you think I can make this much money every month? And she said, well, you're going to have to work, but yeah, you can do it. So I ended up just really putting myself to it or whatever. And I ended up getting to that 2-star rank. And then I was able to quit my job. And then I was really focused on my business. So every day, and just because I'm not walking into a brick and mortar or in and clocking, using a time clock to clock in and out, doesn't mean that I am not working and that I don't have to show up. I still have to show up every single day, every day. And this is even sometimes more harder than a job, like, because you don't get to really clock out, right? I have to be able to answer my phone and questions. And then now, not only am I answering questions for my customers, I've found my team. And I don't have a huge, large team, right? But I have a team, and I have these people that I depend on, and they depend on me, and I have to show up for them every day. And it's really important that I show up in the right mood, in the right mind too, because that's my attitude, and the way that I come off is going to trickle down to them. If I'm not posting on my Facebook, they're not going to post on their Facebook. If I come in a crappy mood, then they're going to think they can come in a crappy mood every day.
And you know what, Heather, I want to stop you right there really quick. And guys, that point she made about showing up every day and the mood you show up. So we can show up, right? It's easy to just show up on Facebook or show up wherever. It's all about the way we show up. And about what we're doing. You know, I tell my team constantly, they're like, my team's not working, my team's not doing this. And I go, well, what are you doing? And people don't realize if your team doesn't see you doing it, they're not going to do it. If your team sees you working for this company and this company and that company, and one day you're advertising makeup and soap, and the next day you're advertising True Vision, and the next day you're advertising Avon, they're not going to think that you take this business very seriously. If they don't see that you doing stories, they're not going to do stories. If they don't see you posting on your Facebook page, they're not going to post on a Facebook page. If they don't see you talking to them, they're not going to go talk to their team, right? Because if you're not talking to them, why should they have to go talk to the people they sign up? You don't talk to them. Mm-hmm. So that's very important, the way you show up. There's days, I mean, especially this last few weeks, I've been super sick. And my assistant who lives with me, who's also an associate, she's been super sick. And so she normally took care of all the things that I normally don't take care of anymore. And it was a real struggle the last few weeks to really, my team is, I'm very, very, very involved with my team. So they know when I'm sick or when I'm not, or what's going on in my life. But if you show up and the first thing you're posting on Facebook is, you know, your life's terrible and I'm feeling real bitchy today, or this or that or whatever, that portrays to not just the people on your Facebook, but to your team too. So it's really, that's a great point you made, Heather, about not just showing up, but about the way you showed up. Heather was going through some health issues, as she said, and she was in the doctor's office laying on a table. And I don't remember if she was, if she was getting a treatment or what was going on, but one of her team members started complaining about something they were doing and they didn't have time, or they were too busy, or she said, I'm laying in my doctor's office with my head above my phone getting a treatment right now. If I can do this, you can do it too. And she's right. I mean, we can make up lots of excuses about why we don't show up, but I don't care if you got to get up and go look in the mirror and say, I love you today, and I'm going to show up happy today, even if the worst thing in the world's happening to you and you don't want to, because you can only have so many of those worst day of the world's happening to you before you don't need to worry about having a team. Because if you fall off, they will fall off. I have a girl right now that was really, really, really close to 2-star, and some stuff happened in her life, and she ended up kind of like, this is too much for me, and that's too much for me, and this is too much for me. She's a managing associate now, and she was almost a 2-star, but she quit working her business. And she thought just because she had all these other people working that they were going to keep working.
Yeah.
It's a little easier when you get up into 5 and 6 stars in the life. I mean, the goal is to be able to, you know, we talk about this time freedom. Yes, I have a lot of time freedom, but most of my time is spent on Facebook. I did a challenge with, I have a 1 through 4 group challenge, and I don't know if everybody's phone does it or not, but you know, you can go on your phone and it tells you like how much time you spent on like productivity, how much time you spent on Facebook, how much time you spent on Messenger or whatever. So my messenger, the last week of March, I spent 37.8 hours, which is a full-time job, right, on Messenger. I spent 7 hours on Facebook. Money is made in Messenger. So if you're on Facebook, scrolling Facebook, looking at memes on the coronavirus and thinking they're funny and all of that stuff, you're not actively working your business and you're not actively showing up. You're actively showing up when you're in Messenger, talking to your customers, checking up on them, finding out how they're doing on the product. You're actively making money when you're in Messenger with your team members and you're talking to them. I remember Heather taught me a very big lesson one time. You know, Heather was doing really good. She was making money. She was working. She was building the team. She said to me one time, I don't know if she called me on the phone or messaged me or something. And she said, do you know you haven't talked to me in 3 months? I said, what? So see, guys, even your team, it makes me almost want to cry because now we're really good friends. I mean, we vacation together. We talk all the time together. Now I make it a point. I messaged her the other day and I said, what my face looks like when you don't answer your phone. Because we forget even about those people that are doing really good and they have a team and they're working and they're making money. We think in our head, they don't need us. But you know what? We pour from ourselves every single, I mean, literally it makes me that emotional. Well, besides the fact I'm already an emotional wreck, but we pour from our cup so much that people forget that we need to be poured into too. And that just because we're doing really well and just because we're making a lot of money doesn't mean we don't need our upline. And when people say you don't need an upline, you don't need an upline, but it's really nice to have one, right, Heather? I mean, it's really nice to have somebody that checks on you and says, do you need anything? Or even sometimes I just call it a bullshit or whatever. It's about nothing. And it can be about that. But it's really important that you stay in touch with not just the people that aren't doing good, but that you stay in touch and connected with the people that are doing really good. Because the people, believe it or not, that are doing really good are the people that need you more than the people that aren't doing good. Because the people that aren't doing good 90% of the time is usually because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. The people that are doing really good are the people that are pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring. And eventually, if I take this cup and pour it all down the sink, it's empty. Okay, it's going to go a lot quicker if I just pour it down the sink, right? It might take 6, 8, 9, 10 months for Heather to say, hey, I haven't heard from you in 3 weeks. Like, you know what I mean? Because she's stronger now and she's grown and she's gotten to a different place. So she may not need me as much, but it doesn't mean that she doesn't need me at all. So that was a super good point that you brought up, Heather, about how you show up too.
Yep, because it does. It just because it trickles down into people. And it got to a point to where every morning I just didn't even want to be in my chat. Like I would literally wake up and check my messages and I would see, or I would try to talk and nobody would talk back to me, or you just have some that just say good morning, but they do absolutely nothing else. And then it was like, why am I even here? So I would just automatically every morning be in a bad mood. And like, I had to figure out how to stop letting that stuff affect me and how I was going to grow my business with or without the people that wanted to work with me. And you have to learn to know and get to know your team. Like, you have to make sure that you're investing in them too, and that you're growing those relationships with them, because it's important for you to be able to read them as well. Because if you don't, and you're not paying attention to them, they're going to go somewhere else. They might stay with the company because they love the product, but they're probably are going to go find a different product too. And just because they're selling, you know, like they're only, you know, contributing 1 or 2 people a month doesn't mean that they're not contributing. Like, they are still your customer and they're still, you know, wanting to share. Not everybody wants to share the same way. Like, you have, you know, and it's maybe because they just aren't ready to share right now, or they don't know what they're doing. I had no clue what I was doing. I had no clue that this is what I was going to be able to quit my job over this, that I'm actually making, you know, better the money. And my husband has a really good job, but I mean, we're kind of neck and neck here, and he's not, you know, so it's just really like, we have goals for our future now too. And I know that True Vision is going to help me get to those goals. And I had to make it a priority to figure out how to bring my team together as one, and how to get us to cheer each other on, and because it's not just about me. So like this month, I knew where I was in my numbers, but I don't really share that with my team because I don't want them to think that I'm only here just for me. And I knew I was really close last month, but I also went through and I checked on my whole entire team, and I know the ones that what they want. I asked them their goals, what they want to do this month, and then I reached out to every single one of them. And I let them know how many days we had in the month, how many smart ships they had to run, how many people they needed to sign, like every single day, if they needed to sign 1 or 2 people to hit that goal by the 31st. And I wanted to make sure that I helped them reach their goals too. And I always try to do like some little contests to help them to offer to their customers and everything. Although like last month, I went to the post office yesterday and I was like, I forgot about the one contest we were having. But anyway, I sent all their, but I want them to get excited and be able to offer their customers a little bit extra. I like seeing their faces when they're hitting their numbers. So they're like, whoa, wait, I am going to
Before you get too far ahead, Heather, I want to stop right there. People will ask me, I tell people all the time that when your upline sends you something in the mail, you should post it on Facebook. So people are like, you just want people to know that you're giving them stuff. I'm like, no, I don't. Do you know remember what Heather just talked about? If you're not giving to them and you're not paying attention to them, that they might go somewhere else, that they'll go find a different product. Because I'm going to tell you, there's products out there just as good as Tru Visions. And somebody might get mad at me for saying that on Facebook, but you know what? Our products don't work for 100% of the people. Everybody knows that. It's the truth. So it doesn't mean that now to me, Tru Vision is the best, right? Because I work here. It's my home. I love corporate. I love the products, but there's other people taking other products that have just as great a results as the people in our company, right? People will come to your company just because they know that your upline pays attention to you. People don't think that, right? So they'll give gifts out to their team and they don't go post about that on Facebook. You should post about that on Facebook, because that person that's at another company that has a horrible upline and the product might be okay, or they might be even doing pretty good at the product, but they really want, people join network marketing 80, I think Todd said 82% of the time, because of the network, because of what you gain of being in this company and what you gain of being, what has brought the culture. If you show so the product isn't just the culture. The fact that Heather gives her teams gifts for this, or the fact that I send every person that ranks in my team a gift, that's important to other people. And so when you're posting that isn't about making your upline look good or you looking good or making Heather look good because she sent, Melinda a notebook in the mail. I sent this girl a notebook and a pen, and you would have thought it was the end of the world. And she was with another company, and she left that company because she said her upline had never talked to her since the day she bought the product. And it worked, and it was good. But she didn't care. She wanted to be a part of something. Yeah. And most people want, I can tell you a story right now, which would take up a lot of this time, but me, Heather, and 2 of her associates were at an event in New Orleans, and something happened at that event. And one of those girls stood there and cried. And her whole main point was wanting to be around people that liked her. She didn't care if she never lost any weight. She just wanted to be around people that liked her. So when I'm telling my team, or you hear me talk or at an event or something, and I talk about how important it is, you don't got to go on there and say, my upline Kaylee, or my upline Alicia, or my upline Jazzy, or my upline Kaylee. You can just say, I love my company so much. My upline was so thoughtful and sent me this notebook because she thought I had done a great month. You don't have to even mention who your upline is, because that part doesn't matter. People want to join people where they're going to be noticed. People join people that they know they're going to get love from. Because I'm going to tell you, we all have, I know a lot of people on this call right now, and you know what? We all have shitty stories, and we all come from shitty places. And it's really nice to be around people and a company and a group of people that we become better people, not because of this company, but because of each other. And when you can go show that to other people, people join you for a lot of reasons. And I can promise it's not always because of the product.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Heather. Don't be going to the post office. It's Jeremy.
Oh, I was the only one. I go to my small post office anyway because I like that lady better, and it took me a long time. My receipt, I took a picture. My receipt was
Hi.
this
Say hi,
big.
Romeo. Oh yeah,
And,
let me say hi. Oh yeah, you're such a good dog.
But yeah, so I forget where I was going with all that. But so just back to like I knew what my goals and stuff are, but I also know like what my teams are because I ask them this every week and every month. I ask them, please give me your goals. I had a lot of team members that were really close the month before, so I knew they could do it this month. And so I just reached out to them and I said, this is what you're going to sign. This is how many auto ships you're going to have go through this. You know, I just wanted, and then I wanted to encourage them. I do little competitions, try to get them, because I have like some competitors. I had one that was so close to 3-star, but yet so far away. And she just was doubting herself. And I'm not going to, you know, she doesn't think she can ever do enough. And she always does amazing. And so I just let her know, you are doing it this month. So my goal was even bigger for her and my team to make their ranks. I wanted to see my girls and my guys make their ranks this month. Like that was more important to me than me hitting mine, because I know some of them have been stalled for a little while too. And I have just been watching their numbers grow. And like, I can almost cry about that too, because it was just really, really nice to see all of them start to hit their goals. And like I had like 9 rank up, and one was managing, the rest were senior, and then I had a 3-star, and I have like the ones coming back, and I have people coming back that just like they needed some, I forget, but they had money in their pay hub to be able, I forget if it was a wash or something, I don't know, but it was just really nice to see them hit their goals. And I was more like, I didn't even tell them I had hit 4-star. And I didn't even let them know, because they weren't going to stop just because I hit 4-star. I was going to make them hit every single one of their goals too. And we were, till the last minute of the night, we were even up, like helping one of the last girls push. And it's just, that was just so more rewarding to me than for me to hit my goal too. Like, and don't get me wrong, like I was really happy for myself too, but and just watching all of everybody come together and root everybody on. And that was just really important for me too. So, and that has taken a lot, like that has been a long time coming for my team or whatever, for us to get out of the negativity mindset and to be able to show up every day, and we're just cheering each other on. And so that was a big milestone for us last month, I think, in my opinion. And I just and now I love waking up in the mornings, and I love the positivity in our chat. You know, I love them sending, I started sending like the gifts or gifs or whatever they are, and just seeing where everybody is every day. So that in itself was a good month for us too. And now we have goals this month. I mean, we still, just because I made a rank, and I know, you know, I'm not going to make a new rank this month. I still have a team that I need to show up for every single day and make sure that they get to where they want to go this month too. And then eventually we're all going to be able to reach and set goals together.
Guys, I think that that's really important too, when you show your team how she talked about they all were in there. And I talked about the same thing last week when I was on the call with Allie about going to 5-star. You know, all her girls had hit their rank before she hit 5-star. And a lot of times you'd think that they would just stop, right? They hit their 2-star and their 3-star or whatever they were all pushing for. And it's when you teach your team that you're really a team, right? You know, it's not just Heather, it's not just Maggie, it's not just Miranda, it's not just Rob, it's that you're actually a team, and you treat each other that, you are going to see changes in your organization so big like you've never seen before. Because when you're all in there cheering on each other all the time, and you're not waiting until the last day of the month to do it, you're doing it all month, and you're going in at the beginning to find out, like, you know, who wants to rank this month, what are you ranking to, and you're cheering them on every day or at least once a week, saying, okay, well, where are you at? And you are actually being a team. You know, if you were, Heather worked in a factory, and I mean, I don't exactly know what she did in a factory. I don't know, maybe made some nuts and bolts or something. I don't know what she did. But if you're in a factory and there's a line of people, right? That's your team. Because if one person in that line screws up on that machine and does something wrong, all the nuts and bolts are going to go flying everywhere, right? Because if they're not doing it as fast, and people are going to start, there is going to start being negativity. You know, Heather used to get so upset, and I used to have to talk her down all the time. Who cares what those people are and aren't saying in there? Don't worry about those people. If they don't want to say good morning, maybe they're not having a good morning. Forget what they're doing. It doesn't matter. Pay attention to the people showing up, because eventually the people that are in there that aren't doing anything, what happens? They're going to leave, because they're going to get sick of all that happiness in there and all that cheer, right? People that are unhappy people don't want to be around happy people. So all you can do is go in there and say good morning and mean it, and keep going in there and being happy and showing people, because eventually those people that are those negative Nancy's and always have something negative, you know, I have a 1 through 4 star chat, and I'm telling you, we ignore it. If somebody says something negative in there, we all start going in there posting cats or whatever. Paige posts her cats, somebody else posts something else, happy, right? If you feed into it, because it's super easy to get people, I mean, there's a lot of negative stuff going on in the world, right? So it's super easy for one negative person to get everybody in the chat talking about negative stuff. And I'm going to tell you, talking about all that negative stuff doesn't put $1 in your bank account. Not one. Not the talking about the back office, talking about the website's a little harder. Figure it out, okay? I don't care if I got to pick up the phone and call and place the order for the customer so that I know it gets through. You figure it out. Don't go in there, and especially if you're a leader, don't go in there agreeing with them, because if you go in there and you feed into that negativity, then your chat becomes a place where they think it's okay. And I'm not going to say that there's never going to be problems, but I tell people in my chat, if it's a problem, you need to come talk to me separate. Oh yeah, I don't allow talking about politics in my chat, Erica, at all, because they don't want to know my political beliefs. Not for real.
To be the problem solver for your team, not the problem starter.
And so I tell them, if you have a problem, and it doesn't mean the problem's not real, you guys. I'm not saying that life is all, you know, butterflies and rainbows. Like I understand that there's issues. I understand that there's problems. But if you go in a chat with, you know, I don't know how many people are in Heather's chat, but there's way over 50 in this one chat that I do a lot of coaching and stuff in. If one person goes in there and says something negative, you'll have everybody in the whole chat talking, oh, that's crap, and blah, 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 and being on negative energy, right? And then that rolls around all day. So I tell them, if you have some issue, you need to bring that to me outside of this chat. I don't need to hear 50 people's problems today because of a legitimate problem that you have. And besides, 50 people are going to try to answer a legitimate problem that they probably don't have the right answer to anyway, right? So I tell them, if you have a problem or an issue, you need to come talk to me outside of that chat. That chat is sunshine and rainbows. Now, if you have an issue where you don't know how to say, yep, negativity feeds off negativity. If you have a question from a customer that not sure how to answer, that's not being negative. If you have a customer that's not responding well to something and you come in and you want to talk about that, that's not being negative, because you're trying to get more, you know, Heather might give one opinion or one way that she handles it, and somebody else might give another way. And if you're doing what Heather says and you're learning about your customers and how they respond to things, you know, what Heather says might not work for that customer, right? If any of you guys listened to the bank call that I had everybody on my team listen to last week, you know, everybody else's personalities are different. The way you talk to people are different. People, like I said, I thought Heather was doing great. What did she need me for? Like, I'm sorry, like, you know what I mean? But she does need me even when she's doing great. You know what I mean? And so you have to learn those people. And if you allow that negativity to take over in your chat, you're going to have a lot of miserable days. So there is no negativity. When a new associate's put in that chat, they're told by the person that puts them in there, this is what this chat is for, and Kaylee will remove you. I just tell them, oh, blame me. Kaylee will remove you if you talk about a lot of negativity. And I've had to remove people. I mean, every day this girl had a list of problems this long, and her boyfriend's uncle's cousin's sister's husband's aunt was a jerk. And you know, that might be a personal problem for her, but it's not a personal problem for 50 people trying to build an empire or 50 people trying to change lives. And so I say, if you're not in here to change lives and that's not what you're wanting to talk about, then it's not appropriate for this chat. I'm sorry if you're having a bad day. I'm sorry if your grandma died. I mean, a girl came in last week and said her grandmother died. That's totally different, you guys. That's not being negative. You all know what I mean about negativity. And it's really easy to take a great day and turn the whole day into terrible mess because somebody's bringing in their negative energy. And I really believe in energy, and what you bring forth, a lot of people can that can touch other people. And so if you guys want to just keep that negative energy out of your chat and keep it as positive as you can, and the more you do that, the more you're going to see what Heather just talked about, and how these people, you know, Heather was happy she made 4-star, but it wasn't just about her making 4-star. It was literally about watching her team grow. And you know what, when you start getting leaders on your team, I mean, I remember Heather was my very first 3-star, and I was so excited, and I think I was trying to get 6-star at the same time. I don't remember, or 5-star, maybe it was at 5-star or 6-star, I don't remember, because we were this. But anyway, I remember when I got my first 3-star. That's so exciting, you guys. Or when you get your first 4-star or your first 5-star, that's a really big deal. I mean, it shows not just what a great teacher you are and what a great learner you are, but it shows what a great organization that you have. And it also shows the stabilization of your organization. You know what I mean? And the more stable your organization is, when we go through times, I mean, we're going through some really tough times, you guys. I mean, there are people, you know, I've had people message me or call me even on my phone, because on my Facebook, it says just call me and it has my phone number. I've had more people in the last 2 weeks call me in tears because they have to stop taking True Vision. Like, they don't have a job. And yes, I want to turn them on to working True Vision, but there's a time to do it. And it's not always at the exact time that they're telling you they just lost their job. I had a lady call me last week, and her daughter is 21 years old and hasn't left the house in 4 years because she is morbidly obese. And she's never been able to find anything that worked. And she had bought the product for herself and loved it. She lost like 6 pounds in a week. So she messaged me and wanted to know if we had like a package, if you got a special, if you bought like 2 for 2 people. And I said, yes, we have the couples package, or we have the starter package for associates, but we have a package that's $159 and it's enough product for 2 people. And she was telling me the story of her daughter and stuff. And I'm a super emotional person. I mean, I cry watching TV. So she's telling me the story, and she's one of these people that likes to talk on the telephone. And I hate talking on the telephone more than breathing. I mean, I hate talking on the telephone. And so she likes to talk on the telephone. So every time she needs something, she calls me on the telephone. So anyway, we get her daughter on the package, and her daughter's lost 21 pounds, and it's the first product that she's ever taken that works for her. And when I say morbidly obese, she weighs over 500 pounds. And she called me last week sobbing her eyes, I mean, bawling, because she works for a company. They're privately owned, and you know, right now it's the rules that you still have to pay your employees, right? At most if you're a corporation, you still have to pay your employees, and you can't just like put them on layoff or whatever, or fire, or like whatever. Well, this company, if they were going to continue to have to pay their employees, but the company they provide their products to aren't in business, they're not going to be getting orders, so they can't get the money to keep paying their employees, right? So they terminated everybody and basically shut the business down, because that was the only way he was going to be able to go forward. And she was crying and crying and crying. And I'm a very big giver. I was like, I'll give you 6 months worth of product for your daughter. I don't care. But we kept talking, and I said, listen, I know that this probably isn't the best time to talk about this, but you know, you can actually make money sharing this product, and you have a really good story with your daughter, and we can go really slow and I can teach you, and you're not going to be making the money you were making at your job, but I can like help you. And she was just crying and crying, and we kept talking, and she finally said, you know, Keely, I'm really interested in learning more about the business, but I think I need to just wrap my head around, I've worked for this company for 21 years and I don't have a job anymore, and how am I going to continue to take care of my family? And that was last week when we talked, and she called me yesterday, and I knew when I saw her name on my phone exactly why she was calling. She said, okay, I've talked to my husband and I've decided that I really want to do this. I don't know what I need to do, and I'm not very good at Facebook, and I don't know. She said, you told me to put you in a 3-way with this person, and I didn't even know how to do that. And I said, oh, don't worry, I didn't know how to do it 2 weeks either ago, because they keep changing everything on Facebook. So right now we're in a very, very we're in a time where we have the ability to help a lot of people, but we're also in a very fragile time. And so there's a lot of negativity right now. So that was my whole point. I know that I got a little off track, but I think it's important that you know when to also utilize this time to talk to people about joining a business that gives you residual income. Because how many people do you personally know in your business that's sitting at home right now collecting a check that who doesn't do a damn thing, because I have a lot of them, and they're collecting a check while there's somebody else out there that no longer, I mean, they don't know how they're going to feed their family next week, because they just let go from their job because they can't get paid. You know what I mean? So really getting close. And I think if I wouldn't have had talked to her as much as I talked to her and gotten to know her as well as I had gotten to know her, she might not have even felt comfortable enough to call me and tell me the story about what had happened with her job. And, you know, Heather talks on the phone a lot too with people. And I mean, people, you guys that can get on the phone and talk with these people, you're going to be very, very rich in this business. But you're going to be rich in life too, because people that can talk on the phone, because I'm telling you, people got to force me to get on the phone. I'm like, oh my God, I hate it. You know, but I hope that you guys, I gotta see what time it is. Okay, keep going, Heather. You got 10 minutes.
Oh, I don't know. So, and then you just have to get out of your own way sometimes, and you've got to get rid of your excuses. We can have excuses all day long. And then that's another thing that I don't really, like my team, they'll give me excuses, and I'll just if they throw it in the chat, I'll side chat them, and I try to help them find a way that's going to work for them, because not everybody can do the business the same way either. And you have to be in tune with that. Not what I do every day is going to work for my whole entire team. So we got to find things that's going to work for them and their schedules. They have kids, or they have another job they have to go to, or they have a husband that's not really supporting them, or so it's just a lot of things like that. So that's why it's just really important to get to know your team members. And then you also there's that balance too. So like the way that we've been doing our trainings a little bit different when we do find somebody new to bring in, is because, and then I've noticed we do like a 7-day training or whatever, but you also want to be careful when you're throwing the business at somebody, because you don't want to lose them as
overwhelming.
Yeah, you want to you don't want to lose them as a customer. You want to make sure that they feel comfortable enough to come to you and talk to you and to tell you, hey, I don't know if I can do all this sharing right now, but I still want to take my product. Because you don't want them to get turned off about the business side of it, and they stop talking to you as the customer, because that's the most important thing too. And I've been guilty of that with even some of my team members. I forget that why we started this was to lose weight and to get healthy. And so I had remember, because I know one of my girls, and she was like, she hadn't been losing for so long, but I didn't know that, because she didn't come to me about that. She'd only come to me about questions about the the business part or whatever. So I have to remember too, you always have to check in on every part of it. So that's why it's just good. Like, you can't make it all about you. It's not all about you. It's not all about you getting to where you want to be. And when you start to build your team, you have to get to know your team members too. I know I can tell when some of my girls are having problems, or like they just haven't showed up as much as they normally do, or I can tell by their messages they're a little checked out or, you know, grumpy or something. So I always try to like touch in with them too to see what's going on with them. Like we have Michelle, and she's you know, at the height or the school or whatever, and so she's working a ton more hours, and I didn't realize that. I was thinking she was at home homeschooling her kids, and that's what had her down, you know. And then all these moms that have their kids at home, things are a lot different right now. I mean, they're home with 3, 4, and 5 kids, and I'm just stuck here with my husband and my teenage daughter. You know, I couldn't imagine with all the rest. So I mean, we all have our, but it's
But
important.
look, you just had your grandkids for a week. You came to my house after that, and it was like a freaking vacation. Could you imagine having all them kids screaming, running around? You guys should be appreciative of teachers, man. You're really learning right now what a day in a life.
Oh, I always knew I could never be a teacher or a bus driver. Like, I love kids, like, and I love my kids. I love my grandkids, but no way. I cannot sit in a room full of kids all day long. Like, no. But anyway, so it's just important. Like, you just got to be tuned in, and you've got to get to those events, because those are life changing, and you've got to try to get your spouse to one of those events with you, because it's going to be different. They're going to see a whole new, they're going to connect with people too, and they're just going to see a whole new perspective or whatever on everything. And then they're going to realize and chill out a little bit, like why you are on your phone. Like Jason and I still have to find that balance once in a while, but we don't argue as much about it. But I also have to learn to put my phone down sometimes when they're talking to me and engage with them.
I think that for some of us, that's the hardest thing. And Heather's around me a lot, and so she can tell you I am really good at like being on my phone, but I can hear everything you're saying and look back at you and answer your question. Not everybody can do that. And so when a lot of times starting out in this business, one of the hardest things, especially if you're married and have a spouse or a partner or whatever, and they're not used to that, that is probably the most difficult thing starting out your business. And you have to give them some reason to understand why you're doing it. But if you're just completely tuning them out and not even showing them what you're doing or why, or maybe sit down on the bed with them with your phone and let them see these people's lives. Put them on the, show them the training, show them. Listen, I remember I took Heather to, I don't remember where we went, Las Vegas, Dallas, somewhere. And I said, here, he's complaining, show him this. And I just sent a copy of my check. But what I tell people to do is put them on our testimony page. Let them go see the lives that are being changed by what you're doing, so that they don't really think you are just scrolling through your phone or just bullshitting around on Facebook or talking to your buddies or whatever. Because that's usually the hardest part in the beginning of this business, when you have a spouse or a partner or whatever, when they're used to having your time, especially Jason worked overnights, right? So he got very little time with Heather as it was. Well, now all of a sudden you're on the phone for the 3 hours that I do get to be with you, because people that work overnights, their schedules, they don't just come home and go to bed and get up in 8 hours. You know, when they come home, it's still kind of their daytime, right? And by the time they go to bed and get up, they're going to work. So.
Yep. So that's important. Show them your pay hub. Let them understand. I mean, even try to get them on the products. Like, I had to get Jason on the products too. And then he was going to work and sharing them with his friends. I mean, not on purpose. I mean, well, now he kind of does it on purpose, you know, but he, I was like, okay, well, here, because they would ask him questions like what he's doing, or, you know, why he's zipping around like a madman or whatever. And so he got interested in it too. So it's just important. Don't keep it all a secret to yourself, but share. They may or may not understand, or it might take one of the guys longer to get it than the next. And they might not get it at all. And then that's where you have to evaluate things on, you know, and decide what you want your goals to be and set them and things like that. So that's it. I mean,
well, thank you, Heather, for being on here today. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time out of your day. I know sometimes when we do these power hours in the middle of the day, I wish they could be always at nighttime so that everybody in the company could be on, but they are recorded and we get them on here as, you know, uploaded as quickly as we can. But thank you for taking time out of your day. I know right now some of you guys are blessed to probably have this 1 hour away locked in your bathroom holding your phone or whatever. But thank you, Heather. And again, congratulations on hitting 4-star. I love you so much. And I'm so blessed to have you as part of my organization. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day and take care of yourself.
Bye, Heather. Love you. Bye, Kaylee.
Bye. Wash your hands.
Oh, yeah.
End meeting, right?